who didn't. So make sure that you do that. Hey guys, we are live on YouTube. Welcome YouTube. Welcome to today's episode of Marketing Commandos Show episode 21. Hey, we are getting those numbers up. I love that. I love that. Guys, are you excited about today's episode? Because today you should. Because let me tell you why. Today we are going to talk about the biggest mistakes people make selling stuff online. I saw those mistakes and I did those mistakes for a long time as well. Whenever I started just learning the online game, trying to get, okay, what are the tactics? What are the things that people are doing? Trying to see what are the guys doing, the big guys that were selling big events and all that. And I tried to do my own thing and try to do those things and share those results to my client as well. The only problem that I got was I didn't know what I was doing, even though I wanted to help my clients, until I really found out the things that were necessary, the systems, the persuasions, the way to talk, and the back-end system that you need to implement in order to get the strategy done and make sure they're successful. If you guys like this, make sure that you stay on to the end of the show because I'm going to share with you a step-by-step process on how you can get everything done for you today. Hey guys, quick introduction for those who may don't know me on YouTube. Guys, my name is Gabriel Julié. I'm the founder and CEO of Julihey Media and Julihey Production, making sure that your marketing strategy and your video production is done to a level that, man, is going to make you grow your business 10x. That's the goal of our company. Now that you know a bit more about me, hey, let's go back to the subject of today's episode. The biggest mistakes people make when they're selling stuff online. Because there are multiple things that you guys need to avoid to do and other things that you need to realize, mindset shifts, strategy shifts that you need to do in order to make sure that you grab the most out of the opportunity that there is on this internet, on this platform, because that opens a lot of opportunity for those who knows. Basically, what this happened is that it opened the gates to everybody to participate. The problem and the good thing is that only those who actually know what they are doing are getting most of the results, even though everybody can participate. So if you know what to do, you have the entry and you're able to go in there and apply the things. But if you don't, you may struggle to see some results. And I want you guys to make sure that you get the best result as possible. So if you do want to get your business going online and crush it, make sure that you subscribe to the show. You put something on your calendar if you're on Clubhouse. If you prefer listening, go on Clubhouse. If you prefer visually seeing things, go on YouTube. I'm doing a live episode simultaneously on those two platforms every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Times. The Marketing Commandos. Welcome to the squad, my friends. Hey, we're going to jumpstart today's episode by talking about which of these three mistakes will you make. There are a few things that you need to do, strategic shift that you need to take in order to sell online, because this isn't the same approach as you may use like in a one-on-one setting or in a face-to-face setting. There are different ways to do things. Some of them are very similar to stage selling, how you are able to sell on stage, but you have to tweak the strategy a bit in order to apply it to the right platform. So one of the first things I want to talk about to you guys first is that you got to understand that you got to have that mindset shift of thinking this is exactly the same thing as one-on-one selling. And let's go closer to one-to-many selling. Now, I know that you guys may struggle with one of those things or maybe both of them, but you got to understand from the beginning that those two things are totally different skills. Yet the end results is pretty much the same. You get a sale, that's cool, you help somebody, but the process that you need to take the person from this point, the customer, is very, very different. For example, on a one-on-one selling, what you're going to do is that you're going to read that person, fact find what their needs, what they really want. Then you're going to handle some objections. You can do that face to face or maybe via the phone or Zoom call. And then ultimately, you're going to close them. Now, you may see why this isn't applicable when you're doing a one-to-many selling, because, hey, you cannot talk to each person individually, cannot understand the specific needs to each and every one of them. And the thing is, there are benefits and cons and pros to those two methods. Of course, like sometimes you're going to have to do bigger deals. Like let's say one day you want to buy a big real estate apartment complex, and that situation, you need to be good at one-on-one selling. You need to master the two. But if you need to make as much money as in a shorter amount of time as possible, one-to-many selling is the solution, because when you're able to do that, the time you can spend on one customer can actually be spent on 500, 1,000, like as many customers as you want, and you are actually able to make as much money as possible in that amount of time. Let's take one of our mentors, for example, Russell Brunson. If you guys know Grant Cardone, the next guy, he was at his conference, I think 2019 it was. 2019. The guy, did you know how much the guy made in 1 hour and 30 minutes? Like he basically broke a world record of the highest paid speaker in like all history. He made $3.2 million in 1 hour and 30 minutes. And then the second day he made like around like another 300K on some kind of resale. And then after that, what's even crazier about that is that this is not the final number that he done with that campaign. This is like, if you know how to do sales funnel and online marketing, and if you really understand the processes, what you got to do when you go from there, that's the starting point, because now he acquired all those customers that came through and that bought his product. Now those guys are in his sequence, and the most amount of money he will make, maybe, and I'm sure he already did, 10x the amount of money that he just made in that events, because he understands how to follow up and put those people through a sequence and basically put them into other upsells and brought them into his universe. But the thing is, there is a huge impact and a huge skill that you can get if you are able to do one-to-many selling. And that's extremely important that you get good at the both of them, because though the both of them will be really useful for you in each situations depending on what happens in your life. But if you want to look at one that will especially give you the most amount of results as fast as possible, this is one-to-many selling, and you should learn both. But one-to-many selling can get you some pretty great bags of money and help you to actually help as many people as possible, as fast as possible as well. And one of the things that you got to understand when you are trying to sell, and that's also true for one-on-one selling and one-to-many, is that you got to stop selling with logic. In the training that we do, when I often do like, one-on-one selling, that we try to handle objection, do cold call, and make sure that we get better at one-on-one selling. One of the things that we do is that we make sure when we do a presentation that we do not talk about what we call the features, because people don't give a shit about the features. They don't want to hear, okay, you're going to get the sunroof, you're going to get that digital marketing strategy, those Facebook ads. They don't really care about that. They don't really care about this. What do they really care? They care about the end results. They care about how it's going to fulfill their purposes. And in one-to-many selling, one of the things that you guys have to do is always go back through emotions, because remember, whenever something big happened in your life, a big change, something that led to incredible changes and things that happened in your life, the breakthrough, the epiphany that you got was never something that you went through logic. Never. It was always something emotional, something that happened in that moment that involved big emotions and realization, big aha moments, you know what I mean? And after that, you dove deep into that things and try to like add some logic into it to maybe understand more what happened and how we can make it better. But the thing is, it started with an epiphany. So if you want to welcome people into your world and break the ice, you got to use that same process to them. So you got to make them have that breakthrough, that epiphany that you got the same way. And you got to use emotions to do that. You got to use feelings. You got to use a story to make them go through that journey. Because if you try to tell them with what's great about your product, what's great about your services, they're not going to buy. But if you tell how it changed your life, how it actually helps you to get to the place that you always wanted to be, to achieve that results. If you selected your customers correctly and you talk to the right people, they're going to have the same envies, the same things the same end results that you were chasing for. And they're going to see you directly as the expert, as the go-to person to help them actually reach their results. So that's why it's extremely important to do that. What's up, Lee? Welcome to the Clubhouse room. If you guys on YouTube like this show, if you do like this, make sure that you go on the Clubhouse room, because hey guys, I do this every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you prefer going in Clubhouse, I'm not going to prevent you to do so. And one of the last thing I want to talk about in that first part is that if you're not, one of the things that I see a lot of people, and that's also true for one-to-many selling, one-on-one selling, the thing that you got to understand is that people don't buy if there is no urgency. If they don't have to do it now, they will not do it. And I see that all the time with products or ads that were thrown at me. I don't have any urgency, don't have any things like, sometimes I want to do the thing, but I don't have the interest. I just want like, and just, okay, that's a great thing to do, but later. Like, I want to do that thing later. But when you look at it, I would say maybe 99% of those things that I say, okay, I'm going to do them, but later. That's something I want to do, but later. The thing with that is, when I look back, honestly, I believe that 90% of those things that I said, later, no problem, I will do it, but later, well, actually, I didn't do them. And that's the same thing with your customers. So if you do not put a genuine, like, reason, genuine urgency aspect to your offer, you're going to lose. So you got to really figure out how we can be like genuine urgency, by the way, not something that's bullcrap and that you're like, oh yeah, like we're gonna close those things and you're never gonna do it, and then like 3 days later they see, oh, you can get it again. Now they, you just destroyed the trust that they got into you. But find a way to create that true urgency, that real urgency that you can do in order to create that thing, that urgency to buy, because that's going to actually push them to get to the next results. That's extremely important. Do you guys like what I just shared with you? If you did, guys, like what I just shared, please share the stream or ping somebody into the room to get into those great tips that I gotta share with you, because this is just the beginning of the show. Today, I remember you. We are talking about the biggest mistakes that people do when they sell stuff online, especially one-to-many selling. When they do one-to-many selling and want to sell like as many things as possible, maybe it's a YouTube video, maybe it's an Instagram story, TikTok, or webinar. If you guys know somebody that do one of those things and that wants to, improve his sales, make sure that you share that live stream, that clubhouse to that person, because hey, always make sure that if you want to be a great friend, share that kind of value. Now, I'm going to go into the next section of today's episode, which are frequently asked questions that I see a lot of people ask around the mistakes that people do online and how to sell more stuff online. So I'm going to talk about those questions right now and answer them each one by one to make sure that you don't have to do that same thing again. Let's go into question number one. Question number one, why can't I sell my products online? I see a lot of people, influencers, people that are creating content, struggle with that thing. Why can I not sell my products online? What is the problem? Well, oftentimes it's one of the three things. Either you don't have, you are not convincing enough, you are not using enough persuasion, you are not persuading them to actually get your offer. That's number one. Number two, you do not have a sales process, a sales funnel in place online that's strong enough for them, that converts enough to make them grow through like, okay, interest, they see your page, they buy something for you. That's number two. Or number three is that you don't have enough traffic. Those are the three ways, the three things that you need to take care of it. You're like, okay, do I have a great sales funnel? Number two, am I persuading them enough, making sure they go through the sales process that I just created? And number three, do you have enough people that are going through that sales funnel? Those are the three factors that you need to take care of if you want to look at, okay, what's the thing I need to fix and how can I get more sales? Number two question that I see a lot of people ask about how the biggest mistakes people make when they sell stuff online. What is the best way to ask for the sale? Because I see a lot of people, like when they go like ask for a sale online, like, okay, now I'm going to sell, now I'm going, and you see that shift, you see that struggle in their eyes and like, okay, now I'm selling, oh fuck. And that's a big problem, because people can feel that, because people can feel that through the camera. Honestly, you have multiple ways to do it. You can go hard at it, be totally blunt with it, and that's totally fine. One of the things that you need to understand especially when you're making content online, is that you have to make sure that they are okay and they are fine with you making that claim. So one of the things that you can do is that you can do it through a subtle way. I like to call them the subtle clauses. Subtle clauses. Basically, you're like, hey, by the way, make sure to check out this website because it's going to help you do this and that, why you should do it, and how you can access it. Just click that link below and you're going to get it. So the biggest mistake that I see people make is that they wait till the end of the video And that's cool, but they kind of close and like, okay, now guys, we just finished the video. Glad, I hope you liked it. And when when people feel like, okay, this is the end of the video and they just click off, if you do that before you actually ask for the close, you're going to lose like 90% of their traffic there. So make sure that you don't make them feel, that's kind of a content tips, but make sure that you don't make them feel like the video is coming to an end, so they're actually going to stay. You just basically put your close right as if it was part of the conversation. That's the most important piece. Not like, hey, this is an ad, because they're going to be like, difference, I don't want to hear about that because this is an ad. Oh, like the video is ending, okay, I'm going to get out and check out other things. Make sure that it's part of the conversation, like they feel like this is just part of the video and they should watch it to the end as the rest of the video. Make sure you do it that way. Now, question number 3 that I see a lot of people asking are, hey, how can I sell more of my products? How can I actually sell more of my products? Well, one question I would actually ask you in return is, how can you make sure that that same customers buys as many products as possible from one sale? Let me explain what I talked to you about. Yesterday, I just talked about the principle of why sales funnels are important and what are key to any businesses. Why is that? Because when you actually get somebody to a sales page and you got them there in that sales page, now you sell them something. And after this, okay, maybe you made $40, maybe you made $100, cool. But what if that same customer actually buys something else along the way? And from paying for getting that traffic, having all that effort for that person actually coming to that page, you do not get $40 or $100 as I just talked about, but you get 300, 400, and you put them through follow-up sequences. So you get that right in the beginning, but after that, you put them into a follow-up sequence, emails, newsletters, and maybe 1 month or a few weeks later, they buy your masterclass epic program at $4,000. So one of the things I would actually ask you is not maybe to, yes, of course, you should always aim to have more sales, but one of the things I should advise you to take a look first is how you can ascend, retain them while they are already there in your funnel. While you're like having them into buying mode, how can you make sure they buy something else to fulfill their needs and make sure they become great customers of yours? Because the more they're going to buy from you, the better customers they're going to become. Hey, did you guys like these questions? Do you guys like these questions? I love answering those questions because actually you're helping some people. And if you want to help somebody, make sure that you share the stream to that person because, man, we're dropping so many bombs. I'm sure it's going to help somebody. So if you have a business friend, business partner, marketer friend that wants to hear this, make sure that you do share the live stream on YouTube, or if you're on Clubhouse, ping somebody into the room. Let's bring more people in. Let's go into the next section of today's episode, which is going to be the top, which are going to be, let me just share my screen again. I got to find a way, in French we say a raccourci, a shortcut. Yes, that's the word, a shortcut to make sure I use only my keyboard because clicking with my mouth takes some time. But now let's go into the next section. Hey, top 3 ways to get as many sales as you can handle. A proven system. As I kind of talked about this a bit before, but you guys have to understand that you got 3 pieces that you always need to have in every sales processes online. And if they are broken, if they do not work, you can look at it and say, okay, I got to focus on this because that's one of the pieces and one of the reasons I'm not getting that results. And those 3 things are actually, number 1, having a sales funnel that converts. I talked about this. If you are telling people to go someplace that does not convert, a website, for example, it's not that I hate websites, I love them, but not in a selling situation. Because when you have a website, it's kind of if you had a salesperson that was just handling papers and staying back and hoping that people actually make a decision by themselves to make a sale. You would actually fire that person if on the spot if he or she was doing that. The sales funnel on the other end is a salesperson that's going to go to the person, greet them, be an excellent person, actually identify their needs and help them the most. You put them through a process. When you have a website, you just have a pretty front page that you put them on and you hope that they're going to buy from your pretty front page. The sales funnel on the other end is something that's going to sell them, something that's going to convince them to get a specific result, a specific action done. And it's extremely important to understand. So always make sure that the traffic you send the people that you convinced persuaded to go to a place to buy something, make sure that when they get to the page, well, they actually buy the thing, because that's wasted traffic. If you don't do that, you are wasting a ton of money. All the effort that you put it upon that place, upon that time, well, you are not maximizing the amount of results you can get. So make sure that the end place when you collect money is set it up the right way for them to pay. Make sure that's one of the most important things. Now, the thing number two that you need to take care and make sure you apply is that you got to become an expert in one-to-many selling. You got to understand the difference between one-on-one, one-to-many, and you got to make sure that you are ready to sell to those people. You got to understand the ins and outs on how to persuade those people and actually make them go to where you want them to go. And that's one skill I'm going to talk about, a simple process in a few minutes. So if you're excited about this and learning in a few minutes, that step-by-step process on how you can get as many sales as you can possibly handle and persuade those people to go to your place, to your .com, to get to the place that you want them to go and actually help them get the results that you're giving to them. Make sure that you stay tuned until the end of the live show, because that's something that you're going to get a tremendous amount of value for. Guys, hey, oops, went to the next one again, but I'm going to still make a point on the fact that if you do not understand how to persuade them, if you do not understand how to change the false belief, because that's all the things that you got to do. It's always about handling objections. The only difference between one-on-one and one-to-many is that you cannot address them directly on the spot. So what you basically have to do is throw some trial clauses and things and ways to handle those objections. And I'm going to tell you a way, in the exact way, on how to handle those objections in the step-by-step process. But the thing is, you got to identify the different kind of objections that they will got, handle them with a specific process, and from there they will understand, they will have belief, and from there they will listen to where you tell them to go. Now, next thing that you got to understand is that you got to bring a ton of traffic to these pages, because now the third thing that you got to understand is that you can have an incredible .com sales funnel set it in an incredible way, pages perfectly optimized, headlines, top-notch marketing material. Wow. And you are an incredible salesperson on stage. Man, you're good. But if nobody listens to you or nobody goes to your page, well, you got to make sure that those people actually go to the pages. And I talked about that in the last few episodes on how to actually bring traffic to your pages. The first time you're doing it, how to earn your way in and get all the traffic for free, and also how to get all the traffic again and again and again coming in your doors with follow-ups and things like that. But guys, if you do not have the traffic, you have pretty much those three pillars. If they are not standing together, the whole house collapses. You can have a lot of traffic and being great to convince people. If you do not have a great sales funnel at the end, it's going to not work, and vice versa. If one pillar of those three pillars is broken, the whole house collapses. So make sure that you do follow those 3 tips. And I got a bonus tips for you guys. I got a bonus tips for you because I always like to share with you guys something as well that you can add to the top 3. And the bonus tip is that you got to build a movement around that. When you are all those things and it all, when you have your house with the 3 pillars built in and everything is stabilized and good, now what you got to do is you got to bring people to that house and make sure they see it as the place to be, the party to be in, always and always. Because look at all the big companies on this planet. They did not create, yes, they did create a great product. They did have the great sales funnel. They were good at persuasions. They didn't bring a ton of traffic, but what they did as well is that they created movement. Look at Apple, for example. People identify to being Apple users. They take part. They throw rocks at the enemy. Look at the PC versus Mac or Android versus iPhone war. Like, people actually, and why do people have those strange behaviors? Because people take part as a community, as Apple users. And when you take part as a community, you see other people that are not in your community as enemies. That's the strength of it. Because think about this: if you can have buyers that are so into you and what you sell that they're actually defending your products and why it's better, and actually, in a kind of a good way, attacking other brands and criticizing them. This is like, hey, this is well because our product, our thing is the best. We are the best. Like, do you see how how valuable it is? Because people go in the company for the products, but they stay for the community. That's what's going to actually help them and help you to create sales again, and again. So make sure that you build a movement. You're aiming to build a movement when you have all those three pillars set up. Now, did you guys like what I just shared with you? If you guys did like this, stay tuned, because right now I got something tremendous for you. I got something that's going to change the way you do business, because we talked about a few things right here and there, but now I'm going to share with you a step-by-step process on how you can persuade those people. One of the pillars that I didn't talk about yet in Marketing Commandos, which is going to be how to persuade those people, to help them to take the right decision, to handle those objections without talking to them. Yes, there is a process to doing it on one-to-many selling. And if you're excited about doing that, make sure you stay tuned and you share the live stream if you're excited about this. Hey, let's go into that next step. I'm going to share with you my screen. Guys, how to get as many online sales as you can handle. That's a process you got to do. You got to understand those step-by-step process in order to get those results. And that's actually really important, because whenever I saw the power of one-to-many selling, whenever I saw like in 1.5 hours that somebody can make $3.2 million, whenever I saw the power of that, the people moving in the back of the room, the people like hyped up, ready to change their lives, I saw the power of that. And I wanted to understand it. I wanted to be able to do that same thing, but I wasn't born somebody that was extremely outgoing and like great to talk with people. I didn't understood the ins and outs of selling, how to do that, and I was pretty lost. And I produced content for a long time with the hope of helping people, but I didn't know how to make them actually take action and actually help them, until I really dived deep and understood those processes. And it took me a longer time, but I dove deep and understood these processes, and I'm going to share that process with you guys on how you can handle any objections that your customer is having and make sure that they take action so you can help them. Let's go into step number one. Hey, step number one, you got to understand and ask a few questions in order to make that process work. Question number one, you need to ask yourself, what is the thing that you want to sell them? You got to deeply understand, okay, what is the thing that I'm going to sell them? Is this a car? Is this a webinar? Is this a coaching program? Is this a course? You have to understand first, what is it that you're going to sell? Step number two, you need to ask yourself, and that's extremely important. Stay with me here. What are the false beliefs they got about the three things that I'm going to share with you? The vehicle, so your product, your services, the thing that you are selling them, the vehicle that you are telling, hey man, if you go into that vehicle, in that car, is going to drive you to your dream destination. Then about themselves, the false beliefs that they got about themselves. What are the false beliefs that they got about themselves? Let's say you're selling a software, for example. Do they think they are not able to operate it? Maybe they think that this is not something for them. This is something that they are not able to do. You got to see what are the false beliefs that they got into themselves. And then the number three false belief that you need to understand what they got are the bad exterior conditions. What are the exterior things, the things that's out of their control that they think is going to prevent them to do actually the thing? Let's say you're selling weight loss programs this time. One of the exterior bad conditions that can happen to them is actually having the kids having like, hey mommy, let's go like have some snack, have some things, like get that cookie, do those things, and then you're failing on your diet. That's one of the exterior conditions. Now you understand, and you got to really understand deep and test which one of those questions your customers really have. Remember, we always go back to understanding your customers deeply to understand enough what those three things are, because if they do not connect with those things, means that you didn't do enough homework to understand, okay, they really think about this. You just guess, but you got to really test out and see, okay, what do you really like? What is your real fear, your real things that you believe that are preventing you to take action? Because an objection, what is an objection, guys? An objection is simply something that is preventing them to take action. because they got stories, false beliefs, we call them, that are preventing them to take action. For example, let's say they do not believe in online marketing first. Okay, I'm selling online marketing. Let's say they do not believe into online marketing. Why is that? That's a false belief about the vehicle. Why is that? Well, they got a story that they're repeating themselves in their head that creates this, that beliefs, that fact that, hey guys, I do not believe it's going to work. Why is that? Because they saw something, an article on the internet saying that, or maybe their friends was like, tried to invest in an agency and they ripped him off and never talked to him again, and he never saw the results that he hoped to see. The thing is, you got to install a new narrative into the head. The best marketers are good, are great and excellent to understand what are the conversations that are going on into the head of their customers. So the thing is, you got to understand how to change those false beliefs, those stories that they got into their head, to make sure you replace it with a new one, something that's going to not prevent them to actually take action. And I'm going to share that with you when you answer those 3 questions. So remember, 3 things, because there are 3 kinds of objections that they will get. And if you do handle those objections and you install real new false belief into their head, then you will only have to handle minor things, which are maybe money or other things. But like, let's say you're like, hey, I think they think it's too much money, but you didn't handle one of those 3 things. Even if like it's free, they're not going to get it if they do not believe this is the right vehicle that will take them somewhere, and they do not believe they can handle it or do it themselves, or they think something else is going to prevent them to do it. So you got to make sure you handle those 3 things first before talking about any other things like clauses on money or things like that. Those things we handle them later, but you got to understand that all the representations online should handle those 3 subjects if you want to make them believe in something that you are going to sell them. Next step is that you got to understand and you got to create stories that are going to handle each of those aspects. So let's go back to those aspects. You got the vehicle, you got themselves, the beliefs in themselves, and you got exterior conditions. Okay, let's take one example so I can show you guys what I mean. Let's take exterior conditions and let's go back to the kids trying to like get you on taking a bit of their snacks, and you cannot handle the fact that, oh damn, those cookies looks good and I'm going to get a bite of 1 or 2. And you got that belief, that story like, hey, like I love your weight loss program, but I cannot believe in myself enough. No, I cannot, like my kids are still going to show like the cookies, the things in that, and that's going to prevent me to actually succeed. How can I handle this? Let's think about a story about this. Hey, I actually understand, and I think I felt the same way, and I always wanted to lose weight as well until I found out that product. And even people that I was still going to dinner with people, I was still going out with my friends, eating whatever I want. But because I took this product with me all the time, it actually helps me to stabilize myself and to not take any more weight. And I was able to still eat the things that I wanted to, even while I was losing some weight. And it actually helped me to become a better person, which I always wanted to be, because that's incredible. Changes a lot of my mindset at all with all that weight loss stuff. You see what I'm doing here? You see how if you had that false belief, you're like, oh, all of a sudden, okay, now I understand that I can still like do those things, but I can do the program as well. Okay, you see how I changed your belief in your head on how you can now do the thing? Second example, let's stay into the dieting, like weight loss kind of stuff. Let's stay into the, let's go into the beliefs in themselves. Let's go back into one. The belief in themselves. Yeah, I tried a lot of weight loss programs and I didn't succeed at them. I don't think I'm able to do one of those things. I get so hungry and I jumped into the fridge and I just go crazy. I cannot do it. One of the great stories I can tell is, hey man, I did exactly the same thing. That's actually a story that I got right now. Like I tried to do many weight loss plans and many things, but after a few weeks, and I was strong and I was still going hard at the gym, but after a few weeks, I wanted to lose that weight in order to feel better by myself and being a changed person. But after a few weeks, I always went back to 0 and even way back plus 1 or 2 because I struggled to keep my nutrition the same way. until I really found out what were the right nutrition I need to get to actually make sure that I eat the right stuff that's going to make me lose the weight that I want, while not being hungry and while not having an envy of reaching down my fridge and freaking eating everything that's in there and then crying on my sofa because I just failed all the hard work I did. And I did that thing along, and it took me a long time to understand and to really figure out what were the processes and the right food to do. But when I did figure it out and I did understand that, I was able to lose the weight that I wanted, lose 10 kilograms to 10 kilograms that I wanted, and actually feel better by myself and achieve that end goal that I always wanted. See what I'm doing here again? Handling that internal self-beliefs. Let's go into the last one. The last one we didn't talk about yet, the vehicle. So, okay, I just don't believe into like diet plans. Those are the things that I do not believe in. Okay, I understand that you don't believe in diet plan. And I didn't either. Like at the beginning, I was just losing a few kilograms here and there by just going and doing a bit of sports, going to the gym, and I was pretty good until I hit a wall. I hit the wall for me when I was 140 kilograms, 114 kilograms, sorry. I hit the wall at 100 kilograms. And from there, I wasn't able to progress anymore. I was stuck. And I was stuck there for weeks. And I really wanted to go down that way because I looked better, but like the 3 out of 10 instead of 1 out of 10. And I wanted to like a 9 or 8. And I really struggled to get through that wall. I really struggled to get through that until somebody actually took me by grabbed me by my love handles and tell me, Gabriel, you are eating fat foods. You're not doing the right thing, and you actually need to get on a better diet. And I was like, oh shit, that's maybe the piece I need. And I really struggled to like get that principle. And I thought that I was able to eat everything I wanted. And whenever I actually started to take the diet, man, instantly, like I actually remember it was in August, whenever I started to really implement the diet, I was still in high school. And just in a few months, in that summer period I lost like 10 other kilograms in just like 2-3 months. And when I came back to school, people were like, oh, Gabriel, what happened to you? I was like, damn, that nutrition aspect is actually really important. And from there, I was going 3 to 4 times faster than I was going before implementing the diet. And it actually helped me to lose those kilograms that I always wanted to lose. See how I actually handle that objection by creating a story? Now, there's a specific step-by-step story if you kind of know what I'm doing. Maybe you know the step-by-step story, process stories that I'm using, the process that I'm using, but the idea is you handle those objections when you're doing one-to-many selling because you cannot handle them one by one and actually like going into understanding if that's a real one and then handling them. What you do is that you create a story to replace that false story, that thing that prevent them to go forward and say and show you that, hey, it's actually possible. That's a great vehicle. That's a great, like you can do it and nothing is going to prevent you because we got a way to handle that. Those are the things to do. And you do that in that order. First, you make them trust you, like in the order that I just did. You go from the vehicle, then you handle the internal, then you handle the exterior conditions. And then you just list, as I just told you, those stories on how to do it. And then you create that presentation. And that's going to convert like incredibly. That's basically how the guy that's made, like, I'm going to tell you guys something that's really exciting, like about a little fact about this. If you're interested, make sure that and you liked what I just shared with you, make sure that you do subscribe and that you comment how you're going to use this step-by-step process into your business today. Guys, you gotta understand that this process, the exact same process I just shared with you, is the exact process that was used by the person that was paid the mostest in how much? An hour and 30 minutes. In a presentation of 1 hour and 30 minutes, the guy was paid 3.2 million. Russell Brunson was paid 3.2 million using the exact step-by-step process that I just shared with you right now. Handling false beliefs, make them believe into the vehicle, make them believe in themselves, and make them believe that nothing is going to be able to stop them because we have solutions to make sure that you do not get prevented to reach the success that you want by those exterior self-beliefs. Guys, I got something that you guys to check out. Make sure that you go to gabrieljulié.com/action plan. I actually want to make sure that you apply that information. And I created a daily resource, daily action plan for you to be able to apply that results. So go there, check it out. It's going to help you actually apply those things. I go much more in details on that framework and how you can craft it around your business. Make sure you go there. It's free, GabrielJulié.com/action plan. Do you guys like what I just shared with you? Do you guys like what I just talked about right now? This is going to change the way you sell on the internet. So if you did like this, make sure that you share the live stream with somebody that likes those kinds of things and want to take his business to the next level. I think one-to-many selling, those kinds of skills, those kinds of things are like crucial to understand and crucial to do, because it prevents you to actually go faster to a new level. Whenever you understand the fact that if you're able to sell 101 and able to sell 1 to 900, you're able to get a ton of money really fast. Well, you actually discover a great thing that you can do. So make sure that you use both. Both are important because you're going to be faced with situations when you are going to sell one-on-one. That's really going to be extremely important on you getting the things that you want out of life. But if you're able to get the occasion of selling one-to-many, you can actually make a lot more results into a compressed amount of time. So make sure that you do learn both, because selling and marketing are skills that will help you in all your life. And you got to make sure that you understand all aspects of those things. Now, guys, we're going to go into the summary of what we talked about today. So we anchor those things into your head and you can use it every day by now. You got to understand how to sell from stage. I just talked about this, guys. You got to understand how to sell one by one and how to sell for stage, because if you are able to sell from stage, if you're able to sell one-to-many, it's the same process on the internet, exact same process. So make sure that you do understand that, because instead of going one person, one meeting by the other, you're able to be like, okay, man, let's put like 900 people on a webinar, sell to all of them, and then man, you make rain the money. So that's the best way to do it. Number two, the thing that we can take from today's episode, guys, you gotta always have those three pieces working together. Remember the three pieces I just talked about in today's live episode. You gotta have a great sales funnel, a great sales page, great sales process on the internet or physical that is converting. Number two, you gotta have a great pitch, a great ability to persuade those people to go through that funnel, to destroy their false beliefs and actually make them believe that, hey, they can buy the thing, they can do it, and nothing is going to stop them to do it. And number three, you got to bring a ton of people, a ton of traffic through that funnel. You need to have those three pieces together. If you do not have them, remember, this is like a house with three pillars. To get those three pillars, if one of them is broken, the house collapses. You got to have those three pillars working together in order to sustain the foundation. Extremely, extremely important. Make sure you got those three pieces working together for you. Number three thing that we can take from today's episode is the following. I'm going to share the screen with YouTube right now because I got to understand it and say it that's way better. Number three, marketing is all about rewriting the stories that are in the minds of people. That's really deep. And one of the things that, you look at it and you see different like layers of complexity and understanding to it. Real marketers, the best marketers of all time, actually did enough homework, enough understanding of who their dream people, their dream customers are, enough to understand, okay, I know when I'm going to throw that headline, say that thing that's going to resonate with them, they're going to go because that's the thing they're looking for. And I'm actually going to handle their false beliefs because I know my dream customers have this situation, they got that life, and so they got that false belief. And if I do handle that false belief, I'm going to get the best conversions. The best marketers are able to read the minds of the people they are selling to. Even if those people actually don't know what they're thinking, they got to think a step in front of them, because they actually know how they behave and what they're going to do. That's how far you got to take it and how far you got to know your customers. Guys, I just created something for you. Make sure that you do go to GabrielJulié.com/action plan to grab something I just did for you. It's a daily action plan that you can take in order to apply everyday strategies that I put out to make sure that you do implement them to your business. Is going to help you tremendously. So go out there, click on GabrielJulié.com/action plan, type the link, GabrielJulié.com/action plan. If you're on Clubhouse, click the link that's on the top of the clubhouse of the room. And if you're on YouTube, go into the description, gabrieljulié.com/action plan. You can find the link there as well. Now, if you guys on YouTube have any questions that you want to ask, any specific things that you want me to go deeper into, make sure that you go on the clubhouse room, which is in there. You still struggle to use that screen. Marketing Commandos clubhouse room. Go in there if you want to ask your questions, and if people want to raise their hands on the clubhouse room, raise your hands in the air so I can make sure that I answer your question, guys. Make sure that you guys do that, because if you have any questions, I don't want to let you go before you actually understand and are able to apply those things for your business. Man, I don't know whenever I'm going to go sell on those big stages when I talk for 2 hours about drinking, because I see myself drinking a ton of water. Man, I'm going to be so thirsty into those hot environments. That's going to be exciting, man. God damn. So, okay, guys, make sure that you do subscribe. Make sure that you do share the live stream with somebody that's interested. Share the replay of the clubhouse room. It's extremely important. And guys, I see you tomorrow every day at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, your boy Gabriel is still there, even on Sundays, as you can see. When everybody is sleeping, your boy Gabriel is giving you the value. So make sure that you open the daily value and for your marketing strategy and your business. Make sure that you help a lot of people. It was Gabriel, your boy,